Yeah. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back. Good to see you all. I am just going to share my screen and we will just have a wee overview of what we're going to do tonight. And as with previous sessions, there'll be time for a hands-on and a few different things. So let me see if I go to share my screen. You should be seeing that, should be seeing that, should be seeing that. That should be good to go. So there are a few slides, Pam. There's nothing loads, but it's just a few things. Yes, as I said, good evening, welcome back. Good to see you all, and thank you very much for taking the time to come along. This is our third session. This was meant to be a face-to-face. Apologies, that's just down to me being unable to physically make it down there. But I'm looking forward to when it's a wee bit nicer weather to maybe coming and getting a chance to see some of you in action. And actually see some of the things that are going on, have a wee visit. But Pam and Susan and I'll have a wee chat with you about that later on. Plan for the this afternoon is we are going to just do a quick catch up with yourselves, see if anyone's willing to offer a little bit of an update as to what they've been doing. What have you tried since the last time I've seen you? Have you been giving it a go? What are some of the challenges that you've maybe found? What are some of the things that have been popping up or things that you've had to try and overcome? And we can address those together. Or if you've got any questions about doing something, that would be great, because that gives me an opportunity to actually do something off the cuff, which is how I like to do things most of the time. We're going to talk about Google Vids, just as a sort of pretty powerful video editor that we have access to across devices. So we don't need to worry about everyone having access to iMovie or access to Clipchamp or anything like that. We've got Google Vids, and it's got a number of great templates that can take you through. And then we're going to talk about the voodoo that is Nano Banana. If you follow the news, you might have seen that Nano Banana released an update just about, I think it was last Thursday, what's called Nano Banana 3. And rarely in education, we got it right away. And the things that we can do with Nano Banana 3 are excellent. Now, obviously, this is for us as teachers to create images that we can then use, but it's also a chance for us to create some resources or to help explain topics to our pupils. And then we're going to finish up with something that really makes Gemini work for you. So we're going to look at storybooks, which is a gem, but we're also going to look at how you can build your own gem and actually how you could use Gemini to help facilitate creating that gem. This is what, some people forget, is Gemini can actually talk you through how to do things with Gemini. So even if you don't remember how to do something, you could say, how do I edit a video in Google Vids? And Gemini will take you through. So you've got the react button, so if that sounds okay with everybody, give me a thumbs up and we'll get going. Superb. Brilliant. Awesome. Okay, I've been sharing a lot of these 3D animated movie style images today just because this one doesn't look like you, Pam. Sorry, the one from earlier really did. That was a bit uncanny. It was even matching your jacket that you're wearing. I promise that wasn't planned. Right, what's been happening? What have you been doing? What have you been finding? What have you been trying? We can keep this as brief as possible, or as much detail as you want to. But what have you been trying? What have you been getting your learners to do? I know some people were talking about they were doing things with Adobe Express with their learners last time. What it doesn't have to be the Gemini stuff. It doesn't even have to be for yourselves. Natalie, please.
Thanks. Sorry, our tannoy went off just there as I was about to answer, and you would not have heard me. So we've just had a big literacy event for Book Week Scotland, and we used Adobe Express, and we did a sort of masked reader with the staff to do as like a quiz for the kids. So we used the sort of AI character feature on Adobe Express and got staff to record a couple of lines from a book. And then we sort of put it into a quiz for the pupils and the parents, and it went down so well. The kids absolutely loved it, and they're desperate to have a go themselves. So we did quite a lot of that. And in terms of myself, I've been using Gemini for just about everything. So it's definitely been really helpful.
What type of things have you been using? What's Gemini been helping you do?
So it's been helping me just sort of with definitions for things. We're sort of putting together, we're going for a digital wellbeing award. So just sort of getting those really child-friendly definitions. I've been using it for a bit of lesson planning, just for some ideas. We used it for Book Week Scotland as well to create a list of ideas, and then we sort of went in and edited out what we were going to do.
Right.
Just loads of stuff really. Been creating images and things as well, and using it to create like the colouring sheets and things like that for kids that have got those kind of key interests. So
Aye.
loads of stuff.
Superb. I mean, Pam and Susan are obviously on the call, but they're also on a group chat with me, and they will attest to. I think Julia from Aberdeenshire called it an obsession, about an hour ago. Gemini for me is just a game changer in terms of my own productivity, my own creativity, my own silliness. The fact that I don't like to take a lot of things seriously, and I like to create things that look fun and engaging, and just having something at my fingertips that can help me do that is just so powerful. Graham.
I just think I want to try and draw people's attention. A lot of people are using ChatGPT in
Yep.
their school for different things, but I switched from Chat to using Gemini because when I asked Chat which is better, ChatGPT or Gemini, and it actually admitted that Gemini was better than Chat.
Yep.
Because Gemini uses all of the Google facilities and tools, including the images.
Yes.
So when you try and create a lesson, whether it's for maths or whether it's for RME or whatever it is, it actually helps you to create quite a rich text, quite a rich graphic PowerPoint. Yeah. Whereas ChatGPT, it's a white PowerPoint with text, nothing else. It asks you, oh yeah, send me some pictures and I'll add them in. And like, no. Whereas Gemini is a complete game changer because the way in which it works, it is absolutely fantastic. And I'm hoping I can actually get a chance to speak to the staff at some point about it, because the number of staff that you see, you can tell what's a ChatGPT sheet that the kids are using, or everything is. Whereas Gemini is completely different. I put up today's maths lesson, which was Mars red planet rover tracking or something, and it used all these amazing graphics. I will share it with Pam just to show her.
Please.
It was just amazing how it all brought it together. The only problem with Gemini is it's not quite printing PDFs. It will download the Google Slides, but it's not printing PDFs. It's showing me the top part, but it gives me the code. I'm taking the code, putting it into Chat, and she's giving me PDFs. So there's a workaround, but it's absolutely brilliant. Oh, somebody's talked about Reading Coach. I've not used that yet, but Gemini, if people are using Chat, I would recommend switching to Gemini if they're looking for creative lesson plans, graphic rich lesson plans. If they're doing PowerPoints, it is definitely something that's completely different to Chat.
So the other flip side of that, so I totally agree. Do not disagree. I listen to a lot of podcasts, and someone said on, I think it was the Vergecast, that in order to compete with this, OpenAI, ChatGPT have to become Google. They have to have Google as a behind, because of the amount of data that Google has harvested over the past 30 years is just immeasurable, and the amount of data they have at their fingertips means that Gemini is going to leapfrog. And last week, Sam Altman, who runs OpenAI, actually admitted that OpenAI is going to be facing a bit of hardship because Google Gemini didn't just catch up. It will leapfrog them about 4, 5, 6 different steps. The other flip side that I would also say is from a data security point of view. So if we're using Google Gemini using our Glow account, we're in a sandbox. So we are getting the advantage of having all of the data that is available via Google, but nothing that we are creating or having generated using Gemini is being used to train the wider model. So we are very much getting all of the advantages and none of the disadvantages. Whereas ChatGPT, everything we are creating is being used to train the model. Everything that we are sharing is being used to train the model. And from a data security privacy point of view, I just feel you know, I've got a personal Google account, I've got a professional Google account, and I just feel sort of that right now it is the best option to use. So it's if you're wanting an outside voice as well to talk to the staff in your school, just as a to back you up, not to do it for, but to back you up, give me a shout and I'll happily, you know, sort of talk, and I'm sure Pam or Susan as well would happily talk to your staff and just kind of say,
Absolutely.
why are
Yeah.
you using ChatGPT when you've
Yeah.
got a more powerful tool for free?
And as you say, it's protected as well. It's protecting us.
Yeah, I
That's
think
it.
that's
Not that
from
we're
our
saying
viewpoint, Graham, sorry, just from our viewpoint from Renfrewshire Council, you know, we have this within Glow, we have a Google tenancy, we have been through all the appropriate checks from a
Yeah.
Renfrewshire viewpoint, so therefore we would not recommend using ChatGPT. Can't stop folk using it at home, but in terms of what they're using in school, we would only be recommending the tools within Glow. And so that's a great starting point for people to think about it. But I have to point out what Tracy has said, that they did. They had a pilot with a group of teachers to assess it, and it is one of our approved apps, Teach Me AI. And I'm loving the fact that as a group they felt Gemini was better, and it's free. So yay! Thank you
Yeah.
for sharing that, Tracy. Really,
And
really helpful.
just another point. One of the things that I quite like, the kids can't use it yet, but I was asking the kids about what kind of game would you like, and I was using Gemini to show them how easy Gemini can create a game for
A
them.
vibe code, yeah.
Absolutely brilliant. So yeah.
Yeah, we did we had a
Thank you,
session
Graham.
we had a session not last week, the week before for Computing Science Week, and we did vibe coding with Google Gemini, and all the people that attended, all the teachers that attended found it. You can tell I've been talking since about 1:30 today. Found it like really engaging and as you say, just extremely accessible and easy. The other thing I will say about Adobe Express, I think someone was talking about that, and right now it would be great if we could get learners to the stage that they're using Google Gemini, because the conversations that we've been having are all around the fact that they do have access to these tools outside of school. They can easily go, and you know, they're pretty savvy little bees, and they're able to go and get access to these tools. So we're missing a trick by not giving them access to tools like Google Gemini from a teaching and learning point of view and from a cybersecurity point of view. But right now, the tool that they have available to them is obviously Adobe Express, and that is a generative AI tool that they have access to that is also within that safe, secure enclave, because nothing that they are using is going out to the wider world. Nothing that they are creating is coming in from the wider world. It is using the sort of the enterprise, the education version of their Adobe images. So all of the images that they're pulling from are from that safe enclave as well. So when we're talking about data privacy, security, privacy, pupil safety, when we're communicating with parents, we are safe and secure in the knowledge that what we're having pupils do is not putting any of their data or any of their information at risk. It is all purely to allow you guys to bring learning to life in a way that you haven't been able to do so before, and allowing our learners to make, you know, their knowledge visible in a way that makes sense to them that they haven't been able to easily before. So great, keep them coming. Any other updates that anyone's wanting to share, or are we happy to start having a
Back
crack on?
on.
Pam?
I'm just going to quickly say I popped into the chat there. Just Ross has put in Google Drive. We talked about this with Adobe Express, so we've put that request in so that you'll be able to do that direct link, which would be great. And also, what came up in our last session around Adobe Express sharing, I found that when you shared that, we just did that. Just did a wee test of that live link sharing that Susan said, and it definitely works. If you
Right.
share the live link via however you share it, as you said, in a Google Doc, and just drop all your links in or whatever, but it does work. So just to be update, because that was
That's
mentioned
good.
last time.
That's
Fab.
good to know.
Right,
Yeah.
let's go. Let's have some fun.
Brilliant. Okay, let's have some fun. So I'm going to start with Google Vids. So Susan being Susan has got lots of information for this on Glow Connect. So if you just, I'm sure she'll drop it into the chat, but within Glow Connect, she's created a knowledge hub of what Google Vids are. Essentially, Google Vids are a video editor tool that we have available to us through our Google Workspace accounts. It allows us to record ourselves, create tutorial videos. It allows us to, really take things just that little bit forward. It's not anything, different. It's another tool. What you can use it for is the exact same way that you would use screen recording on an iPad, putting it into iMovie, or using Clipchamp, or using, if you remember, Clips, or even Adobe Express. But it's another tool that can go in the toolkit. Do you have to use it all the time? No. Do you need to know it's there? Yes. Can you then use it for something that you find useful? Absolutely. And the best way that you can find this is whenever you're logged into any Google account, right? And you've got your, say you're on your Google Drive page, for example, right? You can either go to, there is a wee cheat. You can quickly go to vids.new and that will open it. Or when you are on your Google launch page and you see the hamburger stack, or what used to be the hamburger stack, it's down to 9x9, or 3x3. When you go there, you'll see that Google Vids exists, and that will do the same thing, right? So you've got two options. In the same way that you can go to gemini.google.com, or you can go to notebooklm.google.com, you can just type in vids.new and it'll open one up. Now you can upload files, you can convert slides. That's a really good one. We don't have access to Gemini and Workspace yet, but there is going to be, there is an option that will hopefully at some point, maybe, who knows, look to the future, there will be an option that you can start to create a video just by putting in a prompt into Google Gemini. However, I'm just going to take you through a quick demo using a video that I created in Google Gemini using my wonderful prompt engineering tips. So I'm going to upload. Right, so you could add something from your drive. So if you've got videos that have been shared, so say you've got videos that have been created by learners that you want to stitch together and actually have a class, anyone remember Cartoon Cavalcade? Right, remember, and used to pan across, yes, right. So say you want to create Cartoon Cavalcade within your class, put it all together, you can do it. If anyone can find the music for Cartoon Cavalcade, you're doing well, because I have struggled to find it for ages. I can't remember it. It's in the back of my head. Or Hearts Art. Remember that one, Hearts Art as well. Anyway, I'm going to upload. Let's see. It's going to open up my file browser. I'm running this on a Mac, but don't worry, yours will be just whatever it is with your file picker on a Windows or on a Chromebook. Tap open and it drops it in. So I've got my little video here that I created in Gemini. Share the sound. Right, so I've got my 3 characters there. So, and that was created in Google Gemini. How awesome is that, right? Pixar have already got in touch with me, so I'm just trying to think the title. So I think what I might do is I might go into my templates and I might have a wee look and I'll go, you know what, I want to add in, I'll get my Teams thing here. Let's go with something that's a bit appropriate and something that looks a bit bright. Let's go with function. Let's just go with student, because that's where we usually get ones that look quite nice. Let's go with that one. Will do. Research presentation, could go with that one, and I could say, right, import all scenes. No, I just want to import that one. So let's change it so it becomes my intro. And let's change this and call it the farm. Right, and it is by Renfrewshire, and it is November 25. Now, what's quite good, the interface here is the exact same as it is on, it's the exact same interface that we have on, help me out here, Google Docs, Slides, Sheets. my mind has went, I had a complete mind fart there. I do apologise. But yes, it gives me that option that I can do all of this. And you can notice it's also got this little video or image at the back. So I might take that out because what I'm wanting to do is maybe add in. So at the start, I could play it through, see what it looks like. Just bringing that in. It's all right. And it's got I could change my transition. So obviously I've got this where I could flicker. That could be quite good. And then I could start to look at different aspects to it. So I've got video size. I could customize the style. So I could maybe change it to blue, orange. Let's stick with that. Let's change my background style to something a bit brighter. There we go. Change my text color. So everything I'm doing here, it's almost like I'm just creating a presentation, right? And then I can also add in, so I could insert images, so I could upload. So I have my 3 characters that I've downloaded, right? So I could go 1, hold shift, or hold control. There's a 1 at a time. Yep, 1 at a time. So let's open this. So here's, if anybody is feeling like they want to play with Google Vids while they're doing this, please feel free. If anyone wants to suggest names for my characters, please feel free. This dog kind of reminds me of the one from Homeward Bound. Anyone remember that film? Remember? And then we've got. So
I think Lassie's
thinking,
maybe I think Lassie's maybe our age, is it not?
it might be. I don't know. Aye. It could be. It could either be. At least it's no Cujo. I was thinking Luna, Lucky, and Hamish. That was the 3 I was thinking. Right. So there's my 3. There's my 3 characters. But then I've got the option that if I want to, I could look at my animations. Right. So I could say, right, what are the objects that I want to animate? So I want to animate this one, and I want to have them coming in. And it's just like I'm doing a presentation animation now, right? But I'm creating it as a video. And then I could do the same with this. I could have the background, make them orange. So it's very much the Max Verstappen Dutch colours. Go with that.
Martin, that's been 25 minutes before you mentioned Formula One.
I was saving it for my gems, Susan. I've actually got my gems set up for Formula One. I know. I know. I don't know what's up with me. 25 minutes. Right. So let's see how this looks now. Right. So let's. Nice. So I could shorten it down. That's looking no bad. So what I quite like about Google Vids in this regard, and it's easy. There's been a couple of updates. You can start to put in 9:16. You can start to put in 1:1, so you can create Instagram videos, Instagram stories. Pam and I were talking about this earlier. If you are struggling to get people connecting with what you're doing within your class, if you're struggling to get parents connecting, you can easily create a TikTok video because you can change the format, right? You can, when you create a new video, a blank video, you can choose the format to be 9:16, which is portrait. You can make it square 1:1. So it means when you're sharing videos out of what has been taking place within your classes, because again, Adobe Express can also have 9:16 videos. All of the pupils can add these things in. You can start to pull in some content that's been created, but you can keep it in, and this is where I really fell over my words earlier, but you can keep these videos short, sharp, and to the point, right? Earlier on I said something that would require a change of underwear if I'd put it together, but you can have things as a short, sharp snippet. So again, we know that, Susan, Pam, myself, other local authorities, we've been having conversations about how engagement is down a little bit. People are not really engaging with the content in the same way that we used to. And I think it's because we are used to getting things in 1.5 minute snippets. We are used to getting things on a reel. If that's interesting, I'll save it, I'll send it, I'll share it, I'll repost it. So maybe we need something that is going to be easy for us to share the work that's happening within our classes in short, sharp snippets. And that's where a tool like this that allows me to export something, because then it's just file, I can convert it to slides, I can download it, I can put it into a Google Drive folder, and when I download it, I can even have something that's just animated as a GIF. Right, so you imagine just putting that out of like the kids like excited, or an animation that they've created and it's like champagne popping. So it's very much like it's like Keynote and iMovie put into one. It's like PowerPoint and Clipchamp put into one. Vids and slides can work extremely well together. So if you've got a slide deck that you've created and you want it just to be shared, it's another tool in the arsenal, because it uses AI in the background. It doesn't necessarily go into and explicitly say you're using Gemini, but it uses AI in the background to convert the slides that you've created into a video that you can then add. It allows you to add in stock images, text, templates, shapes, right? Everything that you do normally, even within your uploads, anything that you're uploading here, here's all the files that are within my Google Drive. I could add these in, right, if I need to, or I can record myself. So I can use my camera, right, or the good one here is I could use my camera and my screen. So I can start to do a tutorial as I'm looking through, and I can enter a script, which is quite good for the pupils learning to recite things back. So if they have created a script within Google Docs, for example, let me just open a podcast script I might have. Let's go with this one. So let's copy this in and let's just have it within a new file. Let's go to record using the camera, and give myself my script. When I go to start recording, it'll give me my camera access. It'll allow it while I'm visiting, it'll give me that there. And then what it's doing at the top is it's giving me my script. So I could start to reduce down my text size. I can also reduce the speed so I can practice, and I can have it rolling or as manual. I'm just going to have it rolling for this one. So let's record. The road to Holyrood, a look at devolution. The moment for Scottish devolution, granting the Scottish Parliament its legislative powers, has roots stretching back decades. A defining moment with the 1970s, so you can see that it's going too fast, right? So I might want to restart. Realize that my speed's going too fast, so let's take it down. Make my text size a little bit smaller, because that might have been part of the problem, and try again. The road to Holyrood, a look at devolution. The movement for Scottish devolution, granting the Scottish Parliament its legislative powers, has roots stretching back decades. A defining moment came with the 1979 referendum, which failed to meet a crucial 40% threshold of the total electorate. This pivotal setback set the stage for a period of political re-evaluation. However, the subsequent 1997 referendum saw a yes vote for the establishment of a Scottish Parliament. This was a profound step that redrew the political map of the UK, establishing the modern era of governance from Holyrood and fundamentally shifting the balance of power within Scotland. Tap, insert, and it goes in. So in terms of pupil pupil resiliency, pupil confidence, the ability to record themselves and do it with a script, that is hugely powerful. And then they can start to add in content that they have created, and you can get this authentic pupil created content. You can start to use the pupil voice and talk about how they would like giving them that agency, how they would like to portray what they're doing. And you can start to use the pupil voice in terms of them using their own personal reflection and way of doing it. So Google Vids has got a lot of potential. Again, it's just something to really have a play with and a go with. Pam, Susan, anything you want to add or anything?
I was just going to say I could feel a request at the end for more time on Google Vids, but this is what's going to happen tonight, because when you start talking about all the other things, people are going to want longer snippets, but we were just trying to make this a bit more of a brief sessions tonight, just based on the feedback. So yeah, sorry, right, moving on. I'm slowing us up here. Sorry, Martin, keep going.
No, it's all right. It's absolutely fine. It's usually me that's holding it up. So yeah, have a play with Google Vids. Have a look at that page that Susan has spent a lot of time on. Have a look at some of the YouTube videos about how to really get started with it, and then sort of see how you go. Right, Nano Banana. Right, it is raining bananas. Image creation has been turned up to 11. Believe it or not, this is not me with a Hawaiian shirt, because one, it's not showing my elbow as a funky shape, and I can't get it up that high. My arm, I can't get my arm that high. But what is quite good with Nano Banana, especially the name more than anything else, it was just Google did not call it Nano Banana. It was someone else called it Nano Banana, and they adopted it because they couldn't come up with a name for it. It was just called Google Image. This thing is just voodoo, right? Some of the things that you can do with this are just absolutely fantastic. Now, this is something that you only have access to as teachers, because right now pupils don't have access to Gemini. However, what this means is that you can start to either create content for learners that you're wanting them to use as a reference image, or you can create content that could be used to help them do some research, or as a starter image, or use it as part of a whole class discussion. Once, and just a health warning, once you go down the route of using Nano Banana, you will go into a rabbit hole. So you can do a couple of things with it. There's infographic creation. There's a few different aspects to it that work with it as well. I'm going to start by showing you the infographic creation, especially if you've been given a document. So let's go and upload a file, and I'm going to upload a document here. Right, and I'm just going to say I am introducing this topic to learners, and want to create a slide deck to help. So what Google Gemini will do here is it will create the slide deck for you. But what you can then do from that slide deck is you can create an infographic based on it, right? So you can take the concepts that are from it and you can create an infographic. That's using Nano Banana 3 to start to generate that, because the text that goes alongside it and the way that it goes alongside is extremely, it's just got a lot clearer than it has done previously. Before, whenever you've seen images being shared, you've probably seen that the text has been quite, it's been a bit junky is probably the best way to do it, where it doesn't fully look like it's spot on, and you're like, this isn't great. So this is going to create a slide deck for me, but using Canvas, I could say create an infographic, or I could say create a, even if it's writing a letter. In fact, let's go and let that one work in the background. But let's say I am drafting an email to parents about the use of reusable water bottles in class, and would like, let's say, each pupil to bring one, and must have slipped. To bring one and right. So this is just we did this with the senior leaders earlier. We were talking about drafting an email and kind of saying, you know what, that's going to be, you know, quite a strongly worded one. But I am drafting an email to parents, something that we might do regularly and say, okay, let's look at how we could do this. If I change this to Canvas, for example, and then just have it happen again. Right. Sometimes it will, I don't know if you've noticed that with Gemini, sometimes it will automatically figure out what you're trying to do and switch it to Canvas or switch it. And sometimes you actually have to tap the tool and say what you want it to do. So sometimes it's, you know, and it's just the way it works sometimes. So there we go. There's, okay, let's go with best for quick reminder, best for eco schools. Yeah, let's go with option 1. Right, so it's going to use option 1 as the email draft, and then you'll notice up here, once the email has been drafted, this is an editor, so I could go through and change text. So I don't need to copy and paste and put it anywhere. I could do if I wanted to put it into a Word document or into a Google Doc if I wanted to, but you know, remember what we were saying about it gives you that little pat in the back. There it's saying great choice. So final checklist before sending, but what I want to do is on this drop down, I want to create an infographic. So what it will do with this is it will use Nano Banana in the background to create an infographic based on this email. So if you already have text or a document or anything that you've created, upload it, just copy and paste, or upload the document, tap Canvas, let it go through and say, I want to create an infographic. And if you tap Canvas, it will take you through the process. Now, do not be worried by the fact that it's about to show you code, right? Right. Don't be concerned about that at all, because that's just showing how it's fallen in the background. What will happen is when you tap preview, you will see this infographic that you can then use or share or put elsewhere. You could embed it into a Google site, whatever you want to do. I did find a way to use to share it yesterday using GitHub, but that's us going down a rabbit hole. We won't talk about that just now. The point is, even using documents or text, we can still create images from that. This will be coming to Notebook LM. It's just grayed out just now, which will make it a lot easier. This is just a workaround, but the takeaway that I want you to look at from this is what the image will look like when it's done. So while that's
the thing for me about that, Martin, is the fact that you've gone in and you've either taken existing text that you've already edited, or it's created a bit of text, you've edited it, and then from the final version, if you like, it is then creating the image, or in this case, the infographic. It's brilliant.
So there we go. There's the infographic there that it's just created, and that's just a, you know, that's you know, a checklist that parents can then also look at as well. Now, all you need to do there is ask it, how would I share this to a Google site? And it will take you through the process. However, if you're wanting to create infographics, or if you're wanting to create just images that are going to help your learners, then we can just use the actual Nano Banana. So we could say, create a show me a diagram of how the water cycle works. Aim this at level 2 learners in Scotland. 4 minutes, oh no. Right, so I've tapped create image. I have put in my prompt. I've been specific with my prompt. Right, aim this at level 2, and then boom, there's my image. Okay, so you can see spelling isn't 100% perfect. Evaporation is a bit is not great, but there are, some pretty cool. That's a really good kind of example. I like the fact that it's also put tartan in the background. Right, somebody give me a car. Give me a car make. Let's see who can be fast. Make and
Car.
model.
BYD Dolphin.
A BY. I meant a proper car. No, I've got an electric. I meant like a classic car. Right, let's go with a Fiesta. Right. Create and the BYD Dolphin is a nice game. I do have to say that. I've got a Renault Megane. Create a illustrated timeline of the evolution of the Ford Fiesta. Make it 9:16. Right, so what it's going to do here is it's going to use Google search. It's going to find images of the Ford Fiesta. Right, it's going to take you through. It says Mark 1 was in 1976, which isn't the true look of the Mark 1, but you get the idea. Right, and then you can start to go through. You've reached your Nano Banana Pro limit. Susan, what is this?
How many images?
I didn't know it was
have we
possible, Martin.
That's
What
what
is
happens when you
this?
have 3 things back to back, all of which
Right.
are focused on
Luckily, in
banana.
true Blue Peter, Jesus. Luckily, in true Blue
And you've
Peter
only got a minute
style,
left on
and I've
Nano
only got a
Banana,
minute.
so
But-
that's what somebody's trying to tell you something.
here's one I created earlier. In fact, right. So, what you can do as well with it is you can get 3D hand-drawn isometric drawings with it. I found this one out last night. To say I've went down a rabbit hole with this is ridiculous. The Empire State Building, Big Ben, the Fourth Road Bridge, right? It's scary just how much. Even the White House, and it's even knocked down the East Wing. It's shown the West Wing, but it's knocked down the East Wing. And your prompt is simply, look how simple that prompt is. I know I talked about how prompts have to be that wee bit more in depth, but look how simple that prompt is. Right. And if you do that within Nano Banana, you get this. And if you do it by 1080 by 1080, that's your square resolution. Right. So you get a heap of those put together. You put that into Nano Banana. You start looking at buildings. Say you're doing cities in America. That's your class topic. You could start to, in fact, I haven't tried it, but I'll do it while I'm here. Titanic, you can't edit the infographic. That's the only thing. But what you can do is you can say to Google Gemini, edit the title to say this. You can add it, ask it. For pro accounts, Graham, no, because I can attest to that as a pro user. I have used Gemini every day, 3 times a day, 4 times a day, 45 times a day. This is the first I've seen. I do know I have reached my vids limit, creating it with VO. So there are obviously limits. I didn't actually know that was possible. So Susan, that might be something for us to reach out to Google and actually say some individuals within Scotland have been using Nano Banana Pro and might have pushed it. I didn't
One
crash it.
individual.
No. It's after today. It's going to be
This is
all
only a
individuals.
daily limit.
It does look like it or
Aye,
it's even a
yeah.
12-hour limit. It seems to be because it's saying it resets tomorrow. So, luckily,
midnight.
luckily I shall not be stopped. Nano Banana shall not stop me. But listen, seriously, let me just. I know
Gems.
I've only got a minute or so, but let me just quickly
You're
show you.
already over.
I know. So
We
I mean,
knew. Susan and I said we should have left the Nano Banana to last.
if I'm going down,
Because
if I'm going down, I'm. Aye.
you're going down Nano Banana.
If I'm going down fighting. Right. Just to show you, like, these prompts, right? uploading an image of yourself, and then the more detail you go into with prompts, the better it is. Right? I am going to create a document with all of these prompts in it, and I'm going to share it just because I've realised how much I've been sharing. It's actually really good to get through. But the character's charm and presence in their right? You imagine doing that for each of the kids in your class? Those who obviously have permission, but can you imagine that doing that for the kids in your class? Or saying, right, here's your starter image. Go write me a creative story based on him. Right? Or saying, right, I am going to create a... See what I mean?
No wonder you've reached your limit.
Right? Creating a custom set of stickers that are Mr. Coots. Woohoo, chef's kiss. You imagine copying and pasting that and putting it on kids' work, right? As feedback, and there all I've said is there's the image of me, right? And there is my prompt.
One of the things that we absolutely know from feedback from learners across Scotland is that when the feedback that they get in any work that they do that's shared online, when it is personalised by their teacher, it means so much more to them. So whether that's that sticker idea, whether it's hearing their teacher's voice, it means so much more to them. So that's great. No is the answer. Don't upload your pupils, but you can definitely do yourself.
But what you could do is, without necessarily putting in the image of the child, you could make a description. So you could say, create a 3D animated caricature portrait of a pupil, you know, and just give a description, and it would create something. So it's not necessarily yes, I misspoke there. I said upload, but where's the last one? There we go. This was the last one I did, just because I thought that one was awesome. Right. That's me. Right.
Go, James.
James. Right. Hopefully I've not reached my limit with James, but let's find out. Okay, so first one I'm going to start with is the storybook gem, and then I'm going to show you how you can create your own. So storybook gems essentially allow you to bring when we look at gems, it's on the left hand side here, and as we look at it, there's a few that have been put there. There's also a few that you can make on your own. But a gem is essentially a preset set of instructions that allow you to put Gemini to work for something that you do on a repeated basis. The best one that is there is the experimental storybook. So I need an animal and a topic. Okay, so I'm going to put it out there to give me an animal and a topic. Graham.
A bear.
Oh, a bear.
Found in the woods by a boy.
Oh, right.
And it's all about house duties and house chores and stuff.
Okay, right. So, and I will take those other ones and I'll put them into. I'll have the cat and the tiger are going to be there as well. So, storybook. Let's just do it this way. Use my phone. I am introducing the topic of responsibilities in the house for learners in a primary 2 class in Scotland. Create a storybook that has a young boy, a bear, a tiger, and a cat all living together. The house is messy. No one takes responsibility. Who is going to clean the house? And why is that important? Right, so obviously go back and change it. I can say it a lot faster than I can type it. Right. And wanted that to be a new sentence. So I've got a young boy, a bear, a tiger, and a cat all living together. We'll introduce parts about climate change later. So the way I've just done it with you is the way that you could do that with your learners. And you could, that's where you're giving them that pupil voice, that agency, that ownership. You're saying, right, the topic we're looking at is climate change. Give me a character, right? Out of the, and you know, I maybe should have had a form, but your choices are a cat, a dog, a tiger, and a bear, and we have to pick two. Vote now, right? And we start to put those into the gem, and then we just start it. And what it will do is it will create a book, right? Come on. I might have broken Gemini. Doesn't now. As you can see, it's doing the jet. There we go. That's better, right? So it writes the first draft, goes through, and you can see sometimes, yeah, absolutely, Ruth. The fact that you can take those community-led stories as well. Each book, each chapter, or each version of the book could be a different one that is introduced by a learner. What I like about this, I did one earlier as an example, was all about creating internet safety using a bear, and how there was like the three words of it and how these things go together. So this is a class book that can then be, Susan, correct me if I'm wrong, we can't share storybooks yet, can we? No.
Not yet, that's coming.
Yeah. So right now we are limited to just doing this on a one and done type of thing.
Martin,
Susan,
you can download them as PDFs.
even better. Thank you. Excuse me, I just had to take a quick swig there. So yes, if you were able to share it as a gem, you could read it in the browser, but sharing it as a PDF. But there we go. It's the Great Tidy Up team, right? And then the thing I like as well is we've got the listen.
The Great Tidy Up team. In a cozy house nestled near the purple heather hills of Scotland lived four very good friends. Finn, a boy with bright ideas. Bear, who loved honey and hugs.
You know, I don't know about you, but this is just, I mean, it's taken every aspect that I asked. It's taken the messy house. It's got the bear, the boy. Graham, you were saying about the responsibilities. I didn't put the house in the woods, but it's in the hills. But look, it's even using descriptive language, which I quite like. We can read it together, right? You've got the cat and the tiger. They're obviously really closely related because they're all really happy, you know. So can you imagine just kind of sitting there and saying, right, what is that tiger thinking right now? What's that cat thinking? Why don't you go off and draw a picture about, you know, so you're the thing that always gets me from an old teacher point of view is the amount of time I used to spend in the past creating these things from scratch. The amount of time I would spend going on to Book Creator or going on to Apple Pages and creating this book from scratch and coming up with this. I loved doing it and it had a result at the end. But I've lost months of my life, years of my life going down that rabbit hole with resources. Resource creation now is one prompt away. This isn't circumventing my knowledge, my skill, my expertise. This is adding to it. This is just something else that is allowing me to quickly create something and share it with my learners. Absolutely. That talk for writing. What if we, and again, having everybody come up together and kind of decide things and putting things together, it's great for it. And creating your own gem is also extremely easy. I'm just going to show you one quickly that I've started to do. If I do it here, maybe because I didn't start it. But when you go into gems and you tap new gem, it asks you for a name. However, if you're unsure, right? If you're unsure, about how you can actually get started with gems. You could say, right, I am unsure how to start a gem for my interest in Formula One. So Susan's just adding in a few great facts as well. That adding in an image and having that as your own artwork, that you take a picture of the kids. I'll be perfectly honest, I forgot about that, Susan. Thank you for reminding me. But it's just so good how you're able to do that. So again, that is
Caveat,
just,
that was my drawing in the style of a 4-year-old.
I couldn't tell. Very good. Very good. Right. So yeah, it's again, pupils draw the characters, they share them with you, or you take a picture, you put them in, you create a book. Class book, share it as a PDF, done. If you're unsure how to get started with a gem, Google Gemini will take you through, and it will take you through each of the steps that you need to. So if there's something that you are constantly doing, if there are prompts that you are constantly creating, if there are ways, it's even sitting there and it's saying, right, new gem, give it instructions. Okay, so here's my first instruction. So I am just going to open it up in a new window, start gems, new gem, give it its instruction, so F1, right? And it will start to go through each of them. And I can give my instruction if I want it to be. So I want it to be the race engineer one. If I paste that in, that's the instruction that I'm giving it, right? Telling it what it is, how it's working, what it's going to look at. And as I start to go through, I could say, right, I've got everything, give it a catchy name, test it in the preview window. Okay, gem not saved, but let's test it. So you can see there, it's now calling it my custom gem, refining the approach. It's just going to create it. I haven't input anything. This is just a test. Right, reading you loud and clear. Have the telemetry loaded? Right, Pitbull is open. Which let's go with Las Vegas. And it just creates a prompt, steps that I can go through. So it will go back and it will review the data, because again, this is where nothing that we are uploading is being used, but it is using the advantage of having the web out there, and it will bring back information and details. And if I find that this is working, I can save this and I can start to use it over and over again. So if it's a lesson planner, one that I could create, my instructions are just, I am a primary 7 teacher in Scotland and I am wanting to create a lesson plan that structures success criteria, learning intentions for numeracy. That's your first gem, for literacy, for health and well-being, and bring them all together. So gems is a great way to kind of pull things in together and look at how it's all working, and how it can all really kind of build arms and legs and just go a wee bit even further than you think it could. And on that note, that is us coming to 5 minutes. I
minute?
haven't done the feedback form yet, but I'll create that later. Send that
And
to
send
Pam
that
to
out.
send that out to you all. But if there's any
Brilliant.
questions or any queries that you are wanting to just bring up in the last 30 seconds or so, please feel free. Hopefully that's been a lot, but that's been handy.
Very handy.